NSFW, before you found out about sex, how did you think women got pregnant? My mom used to tell me she got me from Target. Former Target employee here. They have a separate handicapped family bathroom, and it's not completely unheard of for the cleaning staff to find a used condom in there. Your mother might have been telling the truth. This is somehow the funniest thing I've ever heard. I hadn't really thought about it. I was 14 when I read about beep stuffs in a newspaper and amp. Then finally it came over me in a few minutes. That's what she said. This is probably gonna sound gross, but I imagined it this way. The man goes into the bathroom and beep a beep ass. He then implants it into the woman's belly button, where it then develops into a baby in some fashion. Not going to lie, that's just impressive. I thought it was a random medical condition, like how people will randomly get a cold, or other illnesses. I thought women would just get pregnant sometime after they were married. Lol, same, it's just like getting married is a spell to get you pregnant. Pregnant. My parents told me you made a baby when you loved each other. Needless to say, I was scared to get a crush on a boy in kindergarten. That boy's kinda boop and you're pregnant. I thought a woman became pregnant when she and a man kissed on their wedding. Me too. By just wanting a kid. Magic. Lol. My mom said God did it. But then she'd tell me God didn't like it when people got pregnant without being married. Even 6-year-old me was able to question why God would do that then. I was pretty much told that if you got married, God would make your body pregnant, like he somehow knew you were married and that's how it happened. I didn't see any unmarried mothers until I was a bit older because I grew up in a very Mormon environment until I was a teenager. Kissing, but longer. People would be making out in public and adults would go, they're almost having. Since the baby is in your belly, it made sense that it got there through your mouth. This is the best and most logical answer here, but at the same time it's not true at all. I learned about sperm and eggs very on, so I had an understanding of sperm meets egg and makes baby, for as long as I can remember. I also knew the sperm was something from the man and the egg was something in the woman, and I knew that they were too small to be seen, like germ. I figured that, if a man and woman were around each other long enough, that the woman just sorta caught the sperm like she would a disease. The same. I understood the science early on, but not exactly the act. Wasn't till embarrassingly later that I learned men move with their penises in the act. The concept of humping weirded me out so much. Beep education filled us in on the mechanics of ovaries and fallopian tubes from 5th grade, but it took a Hustler magazine to explain. Oh, so that's where the beep asterisk gas textbooks are pretty skittish about showing a spread beep beep. They shouldn't be. Which makes showing it for the next generation even more skittish, which basically just obsoletes the mindset of it being a taboo on textbooks. Some of the people I know who are younger, 14 and such, can't even look at diagrams of penises without being grossed out. I think it's horrible that countries like Australia and the US go to such lengths to censor genitalia when it's our own beep species. Honestly, I knew a beep was involved, but I thought it was from pee. That's what the oldest kid on the bus told us. Huh. The stork dropped it down the chimney. Now, this was very confusing because BWE didn't have a fireplace. I thought they bought babies. I thought it just happened spontaneously when women reached a certain age. For years as a child, I wanted to be a nun when I grew up because I thought that was the only way to avoid getting pregnant. I was terrified. But what does a Catholic school expect when they show kids graphic videos of childbirth? My single mother told me that when she wanted a baby, God gave her one, and that you didn't need 2 people to have a baby. Lol. Adoption? Thinking face, don't need 2 ppl. My Catholic mom explained that a small tube from the man implants a seed in the woman that turns into a baby. She had my half-brother and then had 9 kids with my dad over the course of the following 25 years, so there is a good chance she wasn't well versed in reproductive science. I still have no idea where to find that tube. Does it come out the asterisk asterisk? Maybe she just describes your father's beep as a small tube. I had no clue, but I did think that babies came out of the mother's belly button. Actually, I find my thought pretty logical for my age. I used to think it was just something that happened. That women just random times during their lives would get pregnant. Like, when you sometimes just get sick, you get pregnant. It would usually happen around 2 times in each woman's life. It would explain why couples were surprised when they found out they were having a baby, so it was good for me. Otherwise, my friend, though, when you got married you automatically got pregnant. And if you didn't get married you had a asterisk cast, so when she learnt my parents weren't married she called them gross. I was like, see? When I came to know about asterisk during the beginning few days, whenever I saw my parents I was like, asterisk, can't believe my parents did this disgusting thing, asterisk. Now whenever I see my relatives with children the first thing that comes in my mind is asterisk. Sometimes when I see pregnant women with their boyfriend I think to myself, ew, she let that man come inside her. Gross. It's like I'm permanently 12 years old. Lol. Edit. Think to myself, not think to myself. When I was a kid I thought that the guys have birth. Whenever I asked my dad where babies come from he told me that guys get pregnant when they eat much candy and their stomach expands until the baby is ready to be born. I knew beep made them pregnant but I had no idea what beep. I thought girls just had a butthole and peed from their butt. And everything happened with the asterisk. Lol. Literally just a kiss. My parents have a dysfunctional marriage and I've never seen them kiss. I once saw my teenage brother kiss someone and I remember thinking that the girl was definitely going to have a baby. I'm embarrassed to say that I was probably 8 or 9 before I learned that genitals had anything to do with it, and probably in middle school before I grasped the mechanic. I used to think humans were made by a man inserting his beep into a beep asterisk, standing there for God knows how long not doing anything. I didn't think animals could do that, so I thought they gave each other spores that impregnated any other animal of the same species and opposite beep that these spores come directly from the balls, which is why we have to neuter our pets. Didn't think about it, learned about beep at very young age. My children's anatomy book stopped just short of revealing the secret. I was a very sheltered child, and had been taught not to ask questions, so I hadn't thought about it until someone told me. By getting married, then poof, a baby magically appears in the woman's tummy. I never thought about how the baby came out of the tummy though. I thought they got married and then naturally they got pregnant. Also, I thought they popped the baby out of their beep because I didn't know beep aster, and then I'd think how the newborn would be covered in beep when it came out on the beep beep. In like 4th grade we all thought that a man put his knee on a woman's knee. I don't know why we thought that, but I vividly remember that that's what we believed. I had known about the egg and the sperm, so I thought you could just create babies by taking a random from the grocery store and like shoving a tadpole into it. And then the woman got pregnant from that. So when I was in the 4th grade my dumb ass used to think babies came from the took 3 older friends and a Google search to convince me otherwise. I went to private school and lived with my mom, so I never had beep or got that. For a very long time I thought women would drink men's urine and then they would get pregnant. Never thought about how birth worked. Somebody 4 years younger than me told me about. So there's a Chinese legend that Sun Wukong is born from a rock and he lived in a mountainous area named Flower Fruit Mountain. Because I loved eating fruit so much they always called me Wukong, and when I finally asked how I was born they said they went hiking and a rock cracked open and I was there, so they took me home. Not me, but my brother used to think that a boy and girl slept in the same bed. The woman can get pregnant. One time when he was about 9, my grandfather came to visit my family and we didn't have enough space, so my mom said she would sleep next to my grandfather in the second room. It was quite a shock when my brother blurted, "But won't mom get pregnant then?" At the dinner table. Longest 20 seconds of my life. I didn't think about it, but one of my mom's favorite stories from when I was a kid. She was sitting me on her lap and I was being a flaily beep kid and I hit her belly while she was pregnant with my little sister. She said, asterisk, Sue, be careful, the baby is in there. Asterisk. I looked up at her in horror and said, I thought that a girl would just get pregnant automatically at some age and that she had to marry someone before that happens for the kid to have a father. Love the emotion, not the act. I just thought once women reached puberty they'd start growing a baby, like photosynthesis or something. Well, I am ashamed to say through periods. Yes, at 6 I knew about periods, and I thought that when a man puts the wedding ring on the woman, it activated her heart, which would release special chemicals that somehow form the baby. I was really young when I thought I found out how beep worked, cause I saw a scene in a film. They were both covered in blankets so you could only see their chests and above, so I thought that the man and the women needed to rub their chests against each other to make a baby, sleeping in the same bed with a male. This belief stemmed from 3rd grade on the playground when some girls were gossiping. So and so slept with this guy and she's had her period so she might get pregnant. My little 3rd grade brain was like, ooh my goodness, I've slept in my dad's bed multiple times now. Am I going to get pregnant? I didn't know about periods at the time. My mom was not at all shy